She is bringing her Megyn Kelly live tour to the Dignity Health Arena on November 20th with Charlie Sheen and Victor Davis Hanson. She is also our next guest, Miss Megyn Kelly. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me. I think I might be literally the first person in history to have both Victor Davis Hanson and Charlie Sheen as guests in the same night.
In the same room at the same time in the same night. That is amazing. How did you decide to pick up Charlie Sheen for this night?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a sad story in a
It
way
is.
because I was supposed to be with a different Charlie on
Yes.
this night. And after Charlie Kirk was murdered, we had to stop to think whether we were still going to do the tour. Would people still come to the tour, want to do the tour? And then after about 2 minutes thinking about it, we realized absolutely we are full steam ahead. And the audience response has been wonderful. But in that time frame, I met Charlie Sheen. He came on my show and just we became fast friends. I adored him. He was so interesting, had so many great stories, was completely raw and would talk about anything. Nothing was off limits, but we didn't have enough time. And I thought this is somebody I'd like to get to know better. And so we asked him, "Would you be interested at all in taking on this role?" And he said immediately. He said, "Yes, I'll do it."
That's amazing. You mentioned the murder of Charlie Kirk, and was this the only stop he was going to be with you on?
Yeah, this was it.
Yeah, this was the
Bakersfield.
one. And to talk to me about how that's affected you, not only personally, because I know you and Charlie Kirk were friends, but a fellow commentator, how it affects you choosing content and ultimately, like you said, deciding to continue the tour.
Well, I mean, it's made me want to say all the things that Charlie was saying, only louder and more frequently. I mean, Charlie and I had messages that were very much aligned to begin with. And so I feel like I owe it to him to say all of the things right now, like immediately after the shooting and thereafter, to make sure that message is not silenced. You can silence one of us, but you can't silence all of us. And that's why I think this is a time for courage. I think it's one for my fellow commentators, and I think it's one for the civilians out there, the average citizens who just showing up to this thing is a way of thumbing the middle finger at the people who want to shut us all up on team sanity. It like everyone, that's the reason these turning point events are getting thousands and thousands of college kids showing up, notwithstanding the fact that, Charlie was killed on a college campus at one of these events. That's, you could make an argument where the danger might be, but they're showing up in droves, young people who, they don't have the life experience or the wisdom that a lot of, more middle-aged people might have. And so, God, that takes a ton of courage. And yet they're showing up, and our tour too has already sold out in a couple of places. So please do get your tickets now because I'd love to see all of you. MegynKelly.com. I just think people are feeling it as a way, large or small, depends on your life, of saying no, 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 I won't be silenced. No, I won't let you silence this messaging or this person or this group of people. Like we're going to continue in this fight.
I know you shared there was a visual that we did here out at one of our parks for Charlie that thousands of people showed up to. I saw that you had shared that on your social media page. In my opinion, that's why I believe he was murdered, for the effect that he was having on people. He was affecting young people in ways we had never seen before with the voter turnout. I mean, he probably single-handedly helped get Trump reelected, and not to mention other Congress people. It was the effect, I think, that he was having on people and making that, and potentially himself being a candidate one day, that ultimately got him killed, as not as much as what he was saying.
Oh, gosh, you're so right. And it's part of what's so sad about losing him. I mean, he was such an effective messenger. And I think the thing that made him so special and made him resonate with millions of people around the globe in a really unique way is the same thing that made him come to be noticed by Tyler Robinson, who saw his messaging, though it was the same as mine, as Tucker Carlson's, as Ben Shapiro's, as a bunch of us out there, and it offended him in a unique way because Charlie was just so much more effective than any of us at it, and Charlie infused his messages with a hefty dose of faith-based evidence.
Yeah,
And it
truth.
just made it even harder to deny, his encyclopedic knowledge of the Bible. It was just such a powerful combination. And it just makes me sad to even talk about it because the loss And I will tell you, we are working on a special tribute to Charlie for our night in Bakersfield. I
I
think
was
everybody there is going to
I
feel it.
I was gonna ask that. Is there a special tribute for this night or any night on the tour for Charlie Kirk, especially like this night, the one he was supposed to be at?
Yeah, this is a big one. Like, this is one that I have circled on the calendar. Like, it's going to be an emotional night for me too. I miss him too. Like, I miss him a lot, and I can't believe that we've suffered this loss. And I think that night in particular is going to be tough, even more so than when we do Glendale, Arizona, where he's from and where we're going to be interviewing Erica Kirk. Um, I didn't want to ask her to travel. I mean, I
Right.
definitely could have asked her to come to Bakersfield just to sub for Charlie, and she would have said yes. But the last thing I want her to do is have to leave her babies right now.
Yeah.
So we're doing her in Glendale, and so I thought, that night's going to be tough too. That we're closing out the tour with her, but the night in Bakersfield is going to be really tough too because it should be a different Charlie on that stage with me that night. And I saw the love. I was very moved by that vigil. That was amazing. The number of people who
Yeah.
turned out of all ages, of all races. It was like you could see how deeply affected the community was. So I feel you all, and hopefully this will be a cathartic night in some ways. The best nights are when you have some tears, both from laughter and from sadness, and I think we'll probably deliver on that.
Oh, I'm sure we will. And if you guys want to join November 20th at the Dignity Health Arena, your tickets are on sale now, MegynKelly.com. Talk to me. You've been on the scene for a minute. You were with ABC back in 2003, Fox News for over a decade and a half, moved to NBC. Now you're with Sirius and you have your own media, Devil May Care Media. You've seen the landscape change in journalism. Talk to me about that, how it's gone from your traditional, legacy media to now podcasters are basically dominating the field.
Well, I mean, I think the media really kind of imploded due to its own bias and terrible behavior. I've said before that I think Trump didn't murder the media; it was more of a suicide by the media, and he was like their Kevorkian, you know, only too happy to provide the little acid balls. Um, So they did it to themselves. When I first started at ABC and then at Fox in 2003 and 4, it was nowhere near as biased as it is today. I mean, it was behind the scenes, but they didn't let it show in their reports as much as they came to. And that was all corrupted. It was just a slow but disgusting race to the bottom. And slowly but surely, people started seeing it. They got it. And then necessity being the mother of all invention, the digital lane came alive at just the right time. And this younger generation that knows nothing other than the digital lane really started leaning in and wanting more news and information. And now that other outdated way of getting your news is very much the dinosaur. And, it's like your kerosene lamp to the light bulb that is digital. So I love being in this lane and I love being my own boss and I love being able to say whatever I want to say, meaning what is true and real, even if the comfortable narrative, the one that Pfizer wants you to say, or the one that the BLM crowd wants you to say, or the one that the trans lobby wants you to say, is the one that people are telling you is the correct narrative. I just love not having to follow those rules.
And even sometimes the MAGA crowd telling you what or not to say, you know what I mean?
I've upset them many times. We have a good relationship, net, but it's not perfect. I can stick in their craw depending on the news day.
And that's what we need though, and that I think that's what the people are craving, and that's why there has been that switch to find more independent news sources, more independent people that aren't going to give you the spin and the twist on the news.
Exactly right. I think that's why cable news is over, whether it knows it or not. It's having, a little bit of life right now thanks to Trump because people just want information about Trump no matter where he is. But as soon as Trump leaves office, it's going to be devastating for cable news. What's left of it, already the numbers are a shadow of what they were back when, it was like when I was in the prime time of Fox, it was like Greta, me, O'Reilly, and Hannity. And the numbers were just
Through
out of
the
the
roof.
stratosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. But that model has ended because competition is everywhere now, and they are competing with the Joe Rogans of the world and shows like ours and others. And that's good. That's good. People need to have more options, especially conservatives. They have so few options, and Fox should not have a monopoly on messaging. So I think it's very good for the right wing of the country to have multiple places to get your news.
Yeah, because depending on what channel you watch, then that's who you decide on who's to blame for this government shutdown.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I mean, one of the questions you have to ask yourself is, will the people on MSNBC know that these Democrats really do want to fund healthcare for illegals? Like, will they have read the piece of the big beautiful bill, or now they've renamed it the Tax Cut for Working Families Act, which I love these days. Okay, um, will they have read the part that takes away that coverage and tell their viewers that this is what the Democrats are arguing needs to get nixed in order for us to fund the government? Doubtful.
Yeah, because all you
So
hear is, oh, it's about Medicare, or it's about Medicare and healthcare, and we need to provide healthcare. But they don't say, oh, well, they're providing healthcare for these people.
yeah, and by the way, like they're upset about the healthcare. It's these are Medicaid cuts that were made in the big beautiful bill that weren't cuts to actual Medicare. It was trying to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. The grifters, the glommers who were taking advantage of the Medicaid system, who were totally able-bodied, working-age young men, for example. Yeah, you're no longer going to be able to do that thanks to the working class tax cut bill. Um, so that's the kind of thing the Democrats are saying needs to go back in. And this has already been litigated. You know, they already passed this bill. Trump signed it. It's now law. And there's no cause to hold up the funding of the government to say you have to undo a large portion of your bill that was duly passed. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, and then they're trying to turn it around, and I hear people say, well, the Republicans, they run the show. They have the House and the Senate and the White House. I mean, what's the problem here? They're the ones that are shutting down the government.
Yeah, unfortunately, these spending bills require bipartisan participation. So that's why we go through this brinksmanship every time. Personally, I find it very tiresome. I almost never cover these showdowns. 9 times out of 10, they do settle in the 11th hour. This is one of the rare times it didn't. And if history's any guide, there'll be some event that brings it to an end. Something dramatic will happen, and they'll say, "Oh, because of that, we need to cave," so that they don't look like they're really cavers. But look, this does need to end. People need to get paid. Government workers have jobs to do. You know, that I'm so close to totally giving up on Congress and government. I'm very pessimistic about them. So I have almost no hope. I think the future
I am totally
lies
with
in
you.
people like Elon Musk and not these guys.
That's why I'm registered no party preference, and that's why
Right on.
we're the largest growing, I guess, party that there is. Because I'm tired of both sides, Megan. I really am.
Same. I'm a registered independent and I have been for 20 years, and I will never be a registered Republican or Democrat again. Just cannot put on the team jersey. There's too many weird, bizarre characters in both parties. I can't. And I don't understand people who just swallow the entire party platform for either side either.
That's
Like, you
That's
agree
my
with
biggest
everything?
issue. Yeah, that's my biggest issue is when you join those parties, you feel like you have to defend every single thing that comes out of that party's platform. And that's not the case. I don't want to have to go, oh, yes, I'm going to walk lockstep with you every single the way. No, sometimes I just don't agree with you.
No, but I think as a news person, the audience likes that. They trust you. If you agree with everything and defend everything, it fractures the relationship of trust with them. Whereas if you work for the administration, that's a different thing. Like, I expect Caroline Levitt to defend
Right.
Trump at every turn. She should do that. That's her job. But that's not my job. And so if you're tuning into somebody like me, it sounds like somebody like you're expecting a different product, and you should get that different product. And that's the only way forward. You can't have just sycophant news coverage on every channel.
Well, if people want to check you out, they can. MegynKelly.com. They can also come to the event on November 20th at Dignity Health Arena. Tickets are on the website. They can also listen to you on SiriusXM or YouTube, wherever that podcasts are found. She can be found as well. Megyn Kelly, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy, busy schedule today.
Oh, I can't wait to meet you all. Thanks for giving me the time, and I hope people will buy some tickets at MegynKelly.com.
Yeah, just go over to Megyn Kelly. Thanks again. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on November 20th.
Yeah, see you soon.
Thank you so much. Megyn Kelly, everybody. Go get those tickets. MegynKelly.com. Coming on November 20th to the Dignity Health Arena with Charlie Sheen and Victor Davis Hanson. Tickets are on sale already. You better get them because they are going fast. It's going to be a good night. And you heard her. She's going to do something special because Charlie Kirk was supposed to be here that night with her. And so she's already saying she's got something special set up just for that night. You're going to want to be there. You're not going to want to miss it. I imagine it's going to be an emotional night. It's going to be a very informative night, and it's going to be a fun night. You should come out. I'll be in attendance. You should be too. That's November 20th at the Dignity Health Arena. Megyn Kelly live.